Okay. Eating and shit took way too long, so I really want to get moving on challenge. Play a game for an hour. That's always a mistake. Um, Now we gotta make a public, so that's gonna be a fucking journey. I think we'll start off with a cube. Scale that down, move that over here. Add a modifier mirror modifier. I'll add a clipping there, and then add the empty page what it should be. Tailored around. With a little bit of Fallout because it was just like out of vibe. I listened to a Cold War and then not documentary, but like a Q&A, those Wired Q&A. It was about the Cold War, and I was like, damn, I really want to play Fallout now. I have the Liberty, even though I don't. Didn't. I really, really fucking didn't. But I did. Now I'm just annoyed. I can't live with myself. I think that's the biggest. It's a lot of people. Like, I mean, like, by who I am. Okay. Don't hide it. Grab it and put it in there. Oh yeah, this is the humor, not humor, sorry. Humor. What happened to that one? Reference. I have deleted the back. No, no, I have not. It is simply very fucking not clear. And then the thing I've learned, or I'm thinking about now, is simply I don't think I'll go to bed when I'm like at a certain time because it's just so I have energy now. I just want to get as much done as humanly possible for this project because I need to move on. I'm already 3 days overdue. That's the thing that pisses me off about me. I'm so overdue. Hmm. Where did the top one go? No, it's only like here. No, also like there. It's kind of like that. Oh no. No, no, it's okay actually. Just thought I fucked up, but I actually didn't. It's surprising. I usually do, but this time I didn't. Hmm. Yeah, this is what it like. I downloaded it. It was downloading while I was making dinner. So by the time my dinner was done, it was perfectly timed. And I was like, damn, fuck, I really, really, really want to play it now. And then I did for an hour, and now I feel bad. But, that was it. That's kind of what I'm saying on my drawing here. Okay, so how am I gonna make the synthesis? I mean, the synthesis is fine. I'm more worried about the, oh wait, yeah, okay, sure. Hmm. Now I can grab this. Oh, don't grab that. I guess grab that. And then we have, don't do that. Oh, I kind of got to join it somehow. Fill, fill. Okay, I don't know why that. Okay, I did fill. Okay, nothing. Fill. Right? Now that's a hole, and that will become this thing eventually. What the fuck? I'm definitely blocking this out very incorrectly. Um, is this the first time I ever do this kind of shit though? So it should be kind of expected, but still. So annoying. But I'm just useless. What is all this bullshit down here anyway? Like a diaper. Okay, so turn this off. Mm, okay, that's something now. Am I happy with this? I think so. Is this a good enough pelvis? I think. Um, getting kind of complex stuff. I gotta feel. Already looking a lot like a pelvis. Actually, we got most of the work cut out for us, I think. Okay. Um, yeah, we just apply visual transformation. Think about gaming now. It's always something that's a sore topic for me because it's like I feel like I'm wasting my time. But on the contrary, because I feel like I waste my time, me just playing an hour is gonna supercharge me working for the next five. You know, like, because I feel so bad. So I'm aware of that to some degree. So I hate every time I watch it. Oh no, really. Like I still fucking hate myself every time I um, launch a game. I feel like the biggest failure on planet Earth every time. But because that's it's kind of like you're giving into a. Wait a minute, did I fuck up the transform? Yes, I did. I think. What version is this next? All transformations, the origin, geometry. Now we can do it. Wait, don't do that. Build mode, and not Amazon. So yeah, it's kind of like you give into a cocaine addiction. They are so addictive, man. Holy fuck. Um, but because you do that, you feel like you need to work extra hard at work the next day or something, you know? And then you do work extra hard at your job the day afterwards. Not because of the cocaine itself, but because you really fucking unlock yourself and you feel like you relax a little or something. No, you just feel so terrible about the fact that you relax that you have to work hard the next day. That's exactly what it feels like. So now I'm just gonna continue until I can't, until I'm too tired to do anything anymore. That's my idea. This is a strange COVID so far. A little bit more spelled out though. I'll probably look a little bit more human or cat-like, not human. We don't want it to look like a cat. Fuck around. Fucking Christ. So, anyway, that's besides the point. That's fucking human. Okay. I'm sure I'm not the only one feeling that way when they game. That's probably because I mean, it's because of the fact that I am genuinely have no skills. I genuinely have zero stuff I need to get something. You know? Maybe then I'll feel like I can chill for a second. The thing is, when I start chilling, I chill way too much. Like, stupid amount of stuff. Like, I don't believe in quote unquote fucking chilling out for like a weekend or something. Nah. If I'm going to actually genuinely feel at peace, I must have a fucking, I don't know, a year off or something. Why I won't feel at peace ever. Just not anymore. I can have right now. Just making sure no one's watching. Because this shit is weird to talk about. I mean, it will be archived for forever, which I think is a healthy thing, because then it's like, I mean, as soon as you've kind of made it somewhat far, once you've made it somewhat far, it can be very nice to look back on. Their insecurities, have they changed? Have they not changed? Why have they not changed? Is it different? Is it the same? You know, you can like look into yourself in a way. It becomes like a diary. And I think that's very healthy because I guarantee you that feeling of never being enough will definitely stay. It's like it will guide for most people. They all have their reasons. I'm sure my reason isn't very original. And so when it comes to that, that'll come eventually. Whoever asks that first is gonna get a little lollipop or something. Very basic for a reason. That's not most people can probably say, honestly. Yes, the tabulum. I gotta do the acetabulum. Which is the structure right here. This thing. Which the femur leg. Mm-hmm. All right. That's pretty much lined up where I wanted to. That's pretty much lined up where I wanted to. Okay, now we gotta do detailing. This thing actually needs to be a little bit more connected. I feel like I'm in a rush right now. Um, to not only complete this, but like get as fucking far as humanly possible in the course. If not today, fucking yeah, today, as far as possible. And a part of that, as far as possible thing is to get this motherfucking in it. I'm going to fucking die if I don't get this thing. Right? Soon, like real soon. That's the problem. Like underneath art. I don't feel like I'm overworking though. I always feel like there's something happening so that I can't really work on what I want to, but that's fine. As of right now, that's what's happening. Mhm. Fucking bum bum out of here. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, let's make this a problem. Remix it slightly and then inflate this, like filling in a hole with the futuristic medicine or something. That's what it feels like a bullet wound with spray on fucking wound closers. I mean, not unrealistic, actually. We do have spray on wound closers, but it does only that close the wound. I mean, if you're still bleeding on the inside, it's not gonna help. It's usually not spray on either, it's like a powder you apply. So we're already in the feature. Fucking features here, like always. There you go. That's the start of the acid problem. No, just smooth that bitch out. That's pretty close. Just move it around until it makes sense. Um, things like that. Things like that. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. And then the thing about the acetabulum, no, I'm animating like I told you I would, like I wanted to. Mm, I did also the French thing as a part of the break. I learned productive, the flowers, productive there, something like that. And then just revisiting a bunch of the words that I kind of already know. Anyway, the thing about the acetabulum is that there's always like a hole here, not for every species, but for most of them. So I'm guessing the length is the same. I can't really tell. Let's see if they have it. Pets don't. Whoa. What the fuck? That's so unique. That's more unique than not having it. Usually there's a notch in there. There is a notch. Bastard. And it is feeling so good. It is on this surface right here. Running along. Yeah. There you go. Pretty simple to make. Not too hard. But man. It could be more this way. Friend of mine started like playing Counter-Strike. Good luck to you, sir. As long as it isn't like Japanese Wife Simulator or something. That's always embarrassing to get caught with that. No man deserves such a destiny. Reminds me of a Goonicide. The Goonicide in this. The Goon Lord who died. Like, the Goonicide. I mean, it's really sad that he actually killed himself. He was probably in a rut, and that's why he did it. But it is it is a funny reason to die, getting caught jacking off in public, and then you blast your head off. Like you didn't have to do that. It is a funny reason to die, but it is tragic, of course. But it's undeniably kind of funny. As much as that kind of is a fucked up thing to say, probably. Family's devastated. Oh, certainly. Okay. That's a problem. I don't get what this is though, actually. Because it always caves inward. I'm not sure. Because in my eyes, that's the top. But wait, wait, what? What is that? Hold up. This is the pencil falling down the steps. Anyway, is my impression? Is it the skull? Why is it so big? Yeah, he's using a focal length, I think. Because when you've got really high focal length, things that are far apart seem pretty close. And that's probably why I can't get anything to fucking match up. Because I'm using a 35 or 50. I'm not sure. He's probably using a 50 or 60 or 70 or maybe even 90 or 100. That's the thing about digital. You can add whatever you want focal length, and it doesn't really matter because it's all just using physics to calculate. But it is actually going kind of out. I didn't expect that. It's either kind of flat or not. Did not expect that. Okay. We will pull it out then, I guess. Okay. Anyway, I should probably. All right. That is so not visible. It looks so visible in the. My God, not at all visible. This project is really ballooning. I have to make the tree, but I'll probably use some pre-made tree thing, honestly speaking. Or maybe not. It could be a nice practice. I'm already this far ahead into this whole thing, so why not, right? That is a little too strong. I wanted to just, wait, I can scrape with the muscle because I just want to flatten it. Tiny. I should probably change my stuff. Oh, that looks kind of nice, actually. Okay. Thing is, these protuberances in the spit, should just like get that sticked out. Like protuberance. It looks sharp sometimes, throwing me off. Like for example, this one's really sharp. Um, yeah, yeah, that is the top of it. So I kind of gotta pull this out then. By the by, enough to not get like working things on the other side, like artifacts. No artifact here. Good, great, actually. Okay, this is good enough. I don't know. I don't feel happy, but that might just be unrelated. I think I make that joke every time. Fuck yeah. Again. And I'm happy when I work, but it's always like I have to like force myself to work. That's what I hate about myself, among other things. But it's all coming eventually. That's the thing. When you're learning a new skill, it sucks. But it's to me, it's like a muscle. It's an endurance muscle. It's like running around the block. First time you run, you cannot run very fast. Like first time I ran, but I think it's about half an hour on a 5 kilometer run. It was tragic, you know. But then you keep running, and then you run the next day, and you improve quick when you run. By the way, so it's insane. As long as you're kind of, as long as you're like super overweight or something, because I'm not sure if weight has a significant like, does it hinder you in a significant way? I don't know because I'm underweight, so I wouldn't know. According to my BMI, like don't check your BMI all the time. That's not the best health marker. How do you feel? It's also quite a good health marker, but also what's it called? Whoa, 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 whoa. Calm down, Buster. But yeah, once you start running, you quickly gain the ability to go far, further and further and further until you do like a marathon. That's running for you. So it's very similar when it comes to new skills because it objectively sucks to force yourself to do something you are bad at. You will not want to do that for very long. But the more you do it, the more good you get at doing the thing for a long time until you do it for as long as you want to. That's why you see like professional artists, they can sit for 15 hours, not sleep, anything. Like they can draw. Like my brother can draw for, 6 hours and then he'll have something to eat and then he'll draw again right after. And it's like, okay, it's because he's flexed that muscle a bunch of times because he's done it for so long. So he has had the opportunity to flex that muscle a bunch of times. Same for certain kinds of workouts or work. First time I worked in a field at a farm, I was really tired. But then at the end of the month, I was like, we're looking forward to each workday because it was basically just working out and I got paid for it. And it was wonderful. That's why I kind of like farm work. Okay, I have overextended this bastard like crazy. Like the rim is not supposed to be this thick, you know? That's just, mm, yeah, we can see the rim from here, so we will drag that in, seeing that shit. Yeah, that's also why I have such incredible endurance for video games because I used to play them so fucking much, man. So I don't like a day can go by and it doesn't really matter to me, you know? While my brothers cannot do that. They cannot play for like 48 hours until like it's just starting or something. They cannot do that, but I can do that. I have a tolerance for it. So I don't want to put that because I really want to stop. I have a very high tolerance for games. I also have a high tolerance for studying. I can study for a long time. Like I can study for a day, no problem. So if I really need to study, I can study for like 16 hours, and it is not an issue, right? Only problem is fucking hell. Anyway, only problem with is well, so then you should probably like speed it up. The fact that you can sit for 16 hours doesn't mean you should sit for 16 hours when it comes to studying. That's also something I'm working on. Working on most things all the time. I realize Jesus Christ, everything is a goddamn long-term project. Like, um, my point is, even though I can sit for 6 hours and feel like I'm a little bit fatigued. I used to be able to sit for only like an hour or two because I used to run into so many fucking issues that I didn't want to sit there anymore. The same goes for this one. I know I can sit for 6 hours without being a bastard, too much of a bastard at least. So it's only a matter of time until I'm able to sit for 8. And then when I'm able to sit for 8, I can sit for 16. When I'm able to sit for 16, I can sit however many fucking hours I want. Because, I mean, there's only so many hours in a day. You don't really need to sustain yourself more than 16 for most things. Once you've hit 16, you've hit kind of terminal velocity when it comes to the ability to go, nah, I'm going to continue doing this. despite what I feel or despite how I feel. So I think that's really powerful, and I think that's a really motivator. And that comes from when you also guitar, right? I fucking when I started playing, I couldn't sit for more than 5 minutes. It was boring. It's boring to suck. So don't feel. Luckily, I don't feel like I've lost because as long as I sit longer than last time, I think the longest I've sat is like 5 or 6 hours. That was the stream a little while ago. Of course, for animation, I've also sat for a long time, but possibly longer than I've sculpted. That's because I'm more used to animation for one, but also because Jesus Christ, it could be a lot sometimes. Animation. So, yeah. Never really lost track of time. I was keenly aware about the amount of time that went, but um, it wasn't like a terrible thing. Time didn't feel so wasted because you're producing something. You're working towards your art, and then I don't mind spending time. Same for studying, right? I don't mind studying for 16 hours because you're studying. It's like you're working on yourself for something. Might not be like the coolest thing ever, whatever you're studying, depending on what you like and dislike. But it's fun. Give me a second. I was listening to a loser fucking rant about nothing, feeling like he's achieving something, even though he clearly is not. I just want it to be like an archive for seeing, potentially seeing myself back back in time at some point. It's always fun to see what your thoughts and worries were a long time ago. Because usually it stops being a worry, at least certain things stop being a worry, while certain things continue forever. And it's like, oh, why do they continue forever? And why haven't I fixed it yet? Or is it just something I'm used to? Like habit of beating yourself up. Sure, it's unfamiliar to me. I only beat myself up when I need to. Just most of the time. Um, it's likely a thing that will never fucking leave, is my theory, because it's so ingrained, and it is a rewarding thing. Unless I make it so big that I don't have to work a day in my life ever again, which I wouldn't want anyway. But still, hypothetically, then who knows? Maybe, maybe then and only then will I stop beating myself up about these things. I don't think I do it enough though, because like if I was doing it enough, then I would have not been so angry with myself because I mean I would have achieved my goals. So like, maybe it is warranted. Never beat yourself up. Really? I don't know about that. This is really dumb. Stop creep. Stop creep. I've never met anyone that's actually achieved anything that has a healthy relationship with work. That's all I'm gonna say. In high school, they would ruin themselves to get the grade on the test. Absolutely shred themselves. Beat themselves up, hate themselves, not achieving, constantly. Does it matter? The entire future was running on the fact that they got a certain grade or whatever. Because in high school, grades matter all the time, man. Crazy. That's what's illegal. But any other time in your life, it does not matter. It fucking does not matter. Which is why I'm not giving up on my education, but I'm just fucking doing this instead. Because quite frankly, it rewards so much more than my education and work ever could. Because I chose veterinary medicine, right? Really fun, but it has its own problems. It has a huge depression problem, um, and it is very women dominated. I don't think that that's hugely true, but it does affect me. I notice it's not because I don't like women. It's because uh, having someone that's your own gender is healthy, because you can't talk to women about certain things, but you can talk to men about certain things, like insecurity or something. It's really weird to try and speak to women about certain stuff because they just don't get it. Um, so at least having some male coworkers is good. Just like for a female, it was really good to have female coworkers because there's certain things you can't talk to men about. If it was all men in your workspace, it's not very healthy because well, you want to talk to women about women issues because you're a woman and you know you're not a man. They're probably not going to be able to help you when it comes to your women issues. And same thing for men. The exact same thing for men. Um, like the thing that I miss about working with men a lot is that they can be very direct, which is preferable when you're starting out because you don't have to ask if you're being an idiot. You'll be told that you are an idiot. But with women, they don't tend to do that. It's not because they don't think you're an idiot. It's because they don't want to hurt your feelings, which is actually worse because now you're just being an idiot and you feel like you're stepping on everybody's toes because you're not sure if you're being an idiot or not. That makes sense. Safe space to me has always been a little bit weird because it isn't really safe space. It is kind of just not telling people what they're doing wrong a lot of the time. A lot of people get safe space wrong, in my opinion. I should go to bed, but I'm not gonna. That was my alarm to go to bed. But I have not deserved my sleep yet. So I gotta do that first. It's a pretty good pelvis, I think. Decent one. How does it look compared to everything else? Let's see. Why did I disable them manually? That's so dumb. Yeah, I did that. I don't remember doing that. Oh, God. Alzheimer's is setting in early for me, I think. But long ass spine. Spine looks weird without anything. No, perfect spine. Vertebrae there. Cluster. Yeah, and of course, overworking when it comes to the job. I don't have a problem with overworking, and that's the problem. Um, I just want to know, I just want to reference it. You know, it's so not enjoyable to not know. I would much rather work overtime. Yeah, that looks fine, I think. It doesn't look too like bubbly or not bubbly, that's the wrong word. Um, it is somewhat angular though, so I need to do the inside. 'Cause they have these, what should I even call it? It has a name, but I forgot it. Like these flat areas have a name, but I forgot the name. I don't remember. Oh, there is always like a simple cut. The synthesis after all. But yeah, I'm not the only one who thinks that about medicine. Very famous guy, much more famous. Called Kissinger. He felt very similar. And then he started his own company and he really enjoyed it. Like the skills we learned, I really do want to be a vet. That's the thing. That's the problem, partly. I really want to be a vet. Why? Um, I know that it sucks for a really long time. And right now, learning to be a vet is going to take up so much of my time. I know that. Um, that I won't be able to pursue all the other things that I also want to do. So I'm kind of finding this middle ground. So I don't have to do veterinary medicine for money so that I can focus on the other stuff that I want to do because veterinary medicine is a bitch because it takes so much time to learn the things that you need in order to do the job that you want to do. And that's for most jobs, right? But it's severe in veterinary medicine, man. Like you have to wait for so much time just to have the opportunity to um, do the procedure or get taught the procedure by someone who knows it. Because there's a lot of stuff you don't learn in school. I mean, you learn how to do it in theory, but you can't go from theory to practice without supervision, man. And that's what I mean. You need supervision, and the time it takes for you to get that supervision is so long, man. That's where you lose years. And then you need to make sure that you're in a clinic that has that problem enough for you to learn how to do it consistently. And if you don't learn how to do it consistently, well, then you can't do it, right? At all. Which means you need to rely on somebody else to do it for you. So you can't do the things that you wanted to do. If you find another way to earn money, then you don't feel so useless and rough. Some people don't have a problem with not knowing very many complicated procedures, but I do. So that's for me to figure out, right? That's my issue that I feel like I need to know the advanced bit, and I don't feel content being a regular vet. You know, it's my issue. It's only my issue. It shouldn't be anybody else's. Really isn't. And that's kind of what I mean by I don't know, it's not a man problem. I don't think it is a man problem particularly, but I think I don't have a understanding of it. They tried talking about these kind of things to the female vets, and they're like, "Calm down. We only gotta focus on all that initially. No one expects this of you." And I'm like, I don't care what people expect from me. I want to do it. You know? I think most people are like that, though. I don't think it's a big. I don't think it's gender specific, but it does seem to manifest more in men. I think because we don't have other things going for us. If we don't, we're not ambitious or good at our job, then we're not really anything. Makes sense. A man who's not good at his job and also has no other skills is not a man, you know? I don't know if women feel the same, I can't say. That's kind of why I feel like it sucks a little, that it's very woman dominated. Because maybe it's an age thing. I just haven't had the opportunity to talk to a very seasoned veterinarian, but it's difficult to tell. As of right now, I don't know. I will work in another clinic with a bunch of older women. It's a complete female clinic, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. But it's it would be awesome, I think, because I would get taught specifically. I'll shadow a vet, which is awesome. I can't wait for that. I just hope he's not just a vet, he's also like a personal mentor. That'd be awesome. The owner of the vet clinic is somewhat of an older woman. I just really hope she's, I mean, she has to be. She's an old generation veterinarian, and they're really, really reasonable no matter the gender. Not that I've never met an unreasonable, just for clarity, unreasonable veterinarian, female veterinarian. What I mean by gender stuff is like that, yeah. You can talk about certain stuff, gender related insecurity with the same gender and not the opposite gender. That's the main reason I would like to find a clinic with more men in it, ideally, but it's not a requirement as long as I can kind of talk to people about my insecurities. As long as I can rant about my insecurities to anyone, I don't care what gender you are. In the old clinic, there was this older woman. She was like 50. She was really nice to talk to because she understood these things. She's been through a lot. That one has been through a whole lot more than me. Um, how does that look? I just pictured it. That might send me over the edge. No, that looks fine. It does look a little bit too touched up, in my opinion, but like there's no smooth surfaces, so I would probably smooth this. But it's bone, right? So it shouldn't have smooth surfaces. But it's too detailed, in my opinion. Yeah, I think these insecurities are normal. I talked to my friends about it. They don't really care. They don't seem to have these similar insecurities. They have different ones. They have similar stuff in the fact that they don't want to be on the other because they feel like, or they know based on what we've observed that it takes so long to learn anything, which means anything new. What I mean by that, it doesn't take that long. You just need to show initiative. What I mean by that, they take you a month to kind of let them know that you want to do these things. And then it takes another month for the opportunity to arise. And then it takes another month or maybe even 4 months for you to get it right consistently. And then after 6 months, you've learned one new procedure. And it's like, okay. In the span of a lifetime, that's really good, right? You learn a lot if you're only a vet. But here's the thing, I'm not going to be only a vet because I've got so many things I want to do, right? This being one of them. And that's why I feel so fucking angry every time I play video games or something because it's like, it's not the goal. It's not doing the goal. And that really upsets me. My dad would probably say, stop giving me a shit too much or stop I'm not thinking about it like that, but I don't think he realizes that he was the reason, not the reason, but one of the reasons. I feel like this. And parents are always responsible for the mental problems of their children. Not saying it's a bad thing. It really helps me because it has helped me more than it has harmed me. Actually, maybe not actually. Come to think of it, and certain stuff, yeah, has been pretty terrible, but um, like paralyzingly terrible. The fact that you choose not to have relationships and stuff with people because you feel like if they're not helping you with a goal, I'm not gonna waste my time on it with them. That makes sense. I don't know. Is that bad? I do that a lot, maybe more than I should. Everyone's got bad habits. Mine's just more like an antisocial kind of thing. And of course, I've also been so insecure about the fact that I don't feel like I'm working hard enough. That I don't ask my employer, am I working hard enough? So that's more social insecurity more than work insecurity. I feel like that's just me being awkward rather. No, it's the most insecurities coming up in the evening. I think that's pretty true, considering the time and my renting. But I don't mind the silence. Oh fuck! Here. Yeah, I don't mind the silence unless in my baby. So before when you go to bed, you like put something on because you feel worked up from the day that if you have time alone with your thoughts, you will not be able to sleep because you're worried about like I don't know dying with the thing for. I think most people have that phase where they're scared of dying because they're like, what if it's an infinite void and I'm just in hell all the time? What if it is heaven or something? And then you realize, oh wait, it doesn't fucking matter because it's gonna happen anyway. So I have to be scared about it. Like, what if gravity doesn't exist before taking or before something? Like, what if you? I mean, you're gonna fall at some point. Like there. My theory about death is, uh, what was it like before death? Oh wait, nothing. What is it like when you're in a coma, aka when your brain is not working? Oh, you only experience the waking up portion of the coma. Anything else is not experienced by you. So I think it is not infinite black. It is not heaven. It is not anything like that. It is simply you don't exist. There is no input. Similar to waking up from a coma, but you just never wake up. So there's like an infinite, non-perceptible thing for you. Um, Similar to a coma in in how it works, but different in the fact that you don't experience any of it. That's what I think. That's what I thought as a child. And I was like, damn, yeah, I got it. That fucked me up for a long time during elementary school. Damn. What if I die and it's all black? That was my big fear growing up. What if I die and it's all black and it's just infinite boredom? Um, with like nothingness. That was the scariest thought. But then I came up with this idea. Some people like religion fits, but our family's not religious, so I can't rely on that, obviously. I think the quicker you have a peace with it, the quicker you can move on to things that actually matter. but that doesn't really matter. You can't prevent it, so why does it fucking matter? That's my point. Try not to die before you're supposed to. That's why I wanna. Family, everyone in my family smokes. I don't smoke. That's also why I don't drink. Because it's like I'm trying to live as healthy as possible because my genes are pretty fit. So living past 50 is a fucking unique situation. That probably won't happen. Yeah, how much of them? 7 lumbar vertebrae, and I think that's exactly what I have. That's it. L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. I'd love to hear what other people think about that stuff. But I am really not scared of it anymore in the same way that I used to be. Oh, shit, it's always an interesting topic because you can like listen to their thoughts and then you realize a lot of people are religious, actually, genuinely religious. It's really interesting to listen to, even though they're not really like they don't say they're religious, but they are religious. It's really interesting every time I ask them. And it also makes you think they haven't thought about it. Actually, genuinely haven't thought about it, but they worry about it. That's why I think it's so important to maybe be awake at 12 by yourself with nothing else and to think. And you just think about stuff. I do that all the time, probably a little bit too much regular. It's not so much worrying, rather than figuring out stuff. But a lot of the time it is worrying. I would say 80% worrying, 20% actually like coming up with solutions. But if you don't worry, you don't come up with solutions. So that's also right. If you don't identify the problem, you can't find a solution to the problem. That's how I think of it. I think that's how I think of it. Difficult to tell sometimes when it's me. Not saying I've got it all figured out, but for death, I don't have a problem. Who knows? Maybe I'll keep my words when death comes knocking, and I feel like, oh God, I should have been religious or something. But it's like, and it comes up uh, pretty often. I mean, I've got a fair amount of old people in my family, so they tend to croak every now and then. And that's the only time people think about death is when other people die. I think that's way too little. Kind of like thinking, I'm not thinking about like where do you want to, what job do you want to have or something. Because you will have to work eventually, just like you will have to die eventually. Unless you find a job you want to do, you won't feel happy about working. In the same way, if you don't find a reason or a solution to what's the word I want to use, it isn't a reason to die because that's a different thing. It's a rather finding an idea that you find comfortable, what idea that makes you comfortable with dying, and you won't be scared of dying. That's the thing. Some people it's religion. For me, it's like just solving for X, whatever. And then for you, then like you're something else. If we can tell people think about these things. Honestly speaking. Because then you get a perspective. Because when I'm 50 or 60, not 50, I mean, genetically, I will die at 50 because that's what my family does. But they also like abuse the shit out of their bodies, right? Not drugs, but smoking and drinking. Not severely, to my knowledge, anyway. Difficult to tell because we don't really know that many people in that other family. But yeah, when I'm 50, say, that's when I die. Um, Genetically at least, my predisposition. So I have a shorter lifespan rather than a longer one. On my mother's side, which I've earned zero of the genes except the ankles. Anyway, they live for a really long time, like 80, 90 kind of times. Um, but considering the biggest where I've earned most of my genes is from my dad's side, so probably that's also where it's gonna end up. Um, and then did I add it right now? Or just stretch it. Maybe it is better. Just grab this. Did I make it one big structure? I think I should make it one big structure. Yeah, we'll do that. Because it is fused in most animals. It's not right away or then when you get older. But yeah, where was I? Just ranting to myself. What is it in purpose? I don't remember. Mm, Pokemon. Pokemon, and then remember the first channel. Okay, we'll just include the tailbone one. They're so short. They've got barely any tail. Thanks for Jason Tail. Okay, that's the rough of it. Now we gotta make this into an actual sculpture. But yeah, it gives you perspective in the fact that well, it's all gonna come crashing down for everyone. Even Basis, right? That's why I mentioned him earlier. Like we're all gonna die. None, we can't take any of it with us. It doesn't give you a sense of utility, in my opinion. It gives you a sense of purpose. It just gives you perspective. What do you want at the end of this? Like if you work your entire life, you'll hate yourself. But also, if you don't work, you'll hate yourself. So, I mean, you gotta hate yourself most of the time anyway. So for me, I'm like, well, then at least I want to work because I like that. So I want to do as much as possible. And that's when I came, and then I realized, no, I'm still that lazy fucking piece of shit. Not most kid I was growing up. I really gotta beat this habit. Um, yeah, maybe I probably won't really care about what people think. I want to be able to experience these things. I probably won't care too much about what people think about you, as long as you have someone to spend your time with. Because I also see that's a blessing, kind of, in the disguise. Crowding up in a bunch of different families, you get to see people's shortcomings at the end of their lives. So I have a parent. I have so many that I can't really know which one I'm talking about. Hey, um, one of the parents is like, how should I put this? Still scared of asking the store clerk to help them, which I think is the absolute worst that you can do. So that's a great way to sample. I don't want to do that. And then another example is another step parent that I was that was simply they didn't they didn't talk to their children unless something kind of tragic happened. So they were too shy to ask their children, their own children, to be with them. So I don't want that, obviously. But I also don't want to force my children to be with me. I want them to be with me because they want to be with me, you know? So seeing the shortcomings of old people and seeing why those things happen is really fucking useful. That's what I mean. Blessing in disguise. Like you get a lot of step parents and it's really unstable in the first half of your life, but you really get to sample a lot of people. So that's really good actually, I think. Because now I get to see what I don't want. Like I don't have too many alcoholics in my family, but there are some. It's like, oh, I see what your mistakes are. When I get offered alcohol, I get reflected this person has a problem with alcohol and it's their almost defining trait holding them back in life. I'm not gonna touch alcohol. Fuck no. Because I've seen what that does to not only the person, but also the person's family, you know? So because everything is so not unstable, but yeah, pretty much close, very close to unstable. I would almost define it as unstable. You get to see all the mistakes they make. But if it was all one smooth running family, it'd be like I wouldn't notice these mistakes, and I would be like, I'm gonna try alcohol or something. I'm gonna try drugs or something, and I wouldn't think twice about it. And then if I've got some addiction theme or whatever, or predilection that I didn't know about, or just the fact that it's drugs, for example, uh, you might be the start of the downfall for that family because most generations only last 3 generations. Like most generational wealth, 3 generational, sorry, this one. Third generation curse concept and wealth accumulation by the first, is often lost by the third generation. So the first family member gains the wealth, and then by the third generation, it's lost again. That also helps with, yeah, 90% of the wealth is lost by the third. It's a natural concern for many wealthy families whose ranks continue swelling. And I think that's a really interesting concept when it comes to humans because it just shows that it doesn't matter. Genes don't matter, actually. Human behavior matters most. And also, you probably can't prevent it. And also, the ways that people use to prevent it clearly doesn't work. That's also why I don't take dating advice from my parents because my parents, when it comes to that shit, unequivocally. Um, you only take advice from people that have achieved what you want to achieve or are trying to achieve what you want to achieve. Like they're pretty close, you know? Or else it doesn't fucking matter because they're probably wrong, and you finding out that they were indeed wrong is not something I'm interested in doing. So that's why I'll never ever take advice from my mom. When it comes to, oh, you gotta have this in them, mate. It's like, yeah, you clearly good at that. Did that. Dumbass. Um, yeah, not extravagant her, live her life, whatever. I just don't want that life for me. Not at all. This is turning into trauma dumping, I think. Anyway, it's really fun though. I think it's so fun. It's so fucking fun. Uh, that's what I'm thinking. Um, I think there was, what was his name? I have a brain tumor developing currently. No, I don't. I don't. There's something I'm saying. Uh, Jackie Chan, I think was the one that, and I think that was really cool. And the fact that he does not want his kids to earn any money or inherit any money. He wants his kids to inherit only skill. So the only thing they can have from him is merit. I think that's a beautiful idea. I mean, how practical is it? I mean, every wealthy person wants to say that, oh, my kids want, they're going to work just as hard as I did, and then they proceed to not do that. I think that's a lot easier said than done. But like I saw Eddie Hall video talking about how his kids are spoiled. Like, oh, I bought you a $30,000 PC. It's like, first of all, ain't no fucking PC that costs $30,000, Eddie. The fuck you on about? PCs are not that expensive. Thinking about, and he proceeded to talk about the fact, oh, you are spoiled. You need to acknowledge that. Like, oh, I want my son to work for his money. Like, yeah, but you're not really making him do that actually right now. And I think that's the number one issue with wealthy people is the fact that they think the wealth that they accumulated will solve the problems of the next generation because it solved the problems of themselves, right? When they were making it or faking it until they were making it, the main problem they had was not having money growing up. So the fact that they solved that issue means that all things are now solved. So let's throw more money onto the issue once the problem starts arising. However, the problem for their generation is not money anymore. You solve that. Their problem is going to be desire to keep that money. They have zero desire to keep that money. This is really not working out. This is looking like a spectrum. The hell is it? This is the worst fucking thing I've ever made. Okay, maybe, just maybe, it could be better to keep them separate and work on them individually. But yeah, that's why I think people have a bunch of problems with nepo babies and fitness because I mean they don't have to work for anything, and then the parents are solving out all their issues. Like most people can't do that. They don't have the privilege of doing that. It's not their fault, obviously. I don't think people have a problem with nepo babies. Actually, people have a problem with people being lazy. That's the problem. Because if you think about it, it's like when it comes to guitars, I'm gonna butcher his name, Hendrix. You read about Hendrix, you learn that his parents fucking amazing artists too. And it's like He didn't have a baby, but no one's talking about the fact that I might eat my ass brain murder. Oh my god. Because he started playing the guitar at such a young age, right? He was like fucking 5 or whatever. Yeah. He started so early that it's like, oh, look at that. She died with her string. Okay, it was just upset at a young age, apparently. It's definitely not the case. This seems a little. Because they talked about how he started so early, right? And that's usually what talent is. But this does not seem facilitated at all. Maybe it's just a great man. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, they always start early though. 14. But that early. I mean, I. Hmm. 14. Really, what I would I gotta. They're getting revised. Damn. There isn't a lot. Um, did he blast his fucking head out? Was that the one? Oh no. Just trying to find examples of people not really liking certain Nepo babies. I was trying to find examples of different kinds of it. It's like, I mean, Michael Jackson, right? From the Jacksons, as a musician. But no one minds that kind of nepotism because it's like you did your own thing. It doesn't matter anymore. You did something cool. We don't mind it. As long as you do something that is kind of impressive on your own and it's not built on your parents, people don't mind it if you're rich. Not saying the Jacksons were rich. That's definitely not the case. Um, but the case is um, he got a bunch of skills from his parents. Kind of what nepotism is like. But people don't really think of him as a nepo baby in that way. But then again, he didn't inherit any wealth. So maybe that's also part of it. That might be also a really big part of it, actually. I'm just trying to figure out if I am going to do anything in my life that is somewhat significant. I might end up with children that will have to deal with that issue. Because it's really hard, it can be really hard for wealthy children to have a sense of identity and purpose. That's their main issue. So trying to think of that solution earlier rather than later, I think is a good idea. Because it's certainly a hard issue because I mean most rich people get it wrong and they've got a lot of reasons or a lot of resources to get it right. So I'm like, shit, if they struggle with it, I'll definitely struggle with it because I'm not bright enough to think of this shit myself. So that's what I think might be a problem for me. But I think putting it in a way of you have the problem with wealth, they all have a problem with identity and purpose is a better way to put it. Because it makes more sense. I don't know. Does it? I mean, I'll just fucking correct me if I'm wrong, so I can be as wrong as I want. Because I see it a lot growing up too. Children with wealthy parents, it's like they have the desires. They don't want to do shit. Like they already got like the main things figured out. It's like fucking play video games all day or something. Then they blast their brains out when they're 32. They don't know what the hell to do. And the parents haven't really even looked into it either. So they're too busy fucking earning money or working on their career or something big shit like that. I don't want to be that kind of dad. Oh wait, that's the thing. Oh, I missed the mark completely. The fuck is that? Oh, it's the transfer process. My bad. This one's start date. Probably start with this one. I did not notice that. I'm multitasking, okay? I'm thinking about like what the hell I want my children to be like. And this is kind of why I'm talking somewhat publicly about these things because I'm gonna be maybe 80. I hope I get to be 80, but it's not guaranteed, especially with this blood pressure. Jesus Christ. I'm averaging like 110 most of the time. I mean, except when I'm focusing on tasks like this one, then it's like 70 and 60. But if I'm just with my thoughts, not really expressing, just thinking about it, like worrying and shit, which I do most of the time, it's usually around 110. And that's not healthy. So that's what's gonna get me for sure, like a stroke or something. I can't really help that, but I know certain behaviors that I can do that does help prevent it. That makes sense. So, and this is one of them. Anyway, um, that's what I mean. When I'm 17 and I don't care anymore, right? I won't care about the fact that I talked about what I want my kids to be like publicly. That kind of motivates the fact that, well, if he doesn't care, why should I care? You know? I wish I was less public about my feelings and ideas. No, if I certainly, if I don't care then I wouldn't give a shit now. Simple as. Oh, that was real cringe when I did that. I'm not gonna sit there when I'm 70 and think, oh, that was real cringe. Like, no. When you're 70, what you think about is the fact that my spine hurts and I want to die. And you're probably. Those are the things you're looking forward to. Hopefully it won't be that bad, but not a guarantee that it won't be. Like if my health span is gone, I don't really know what to have. Oh, it's got like a, see that top and bottom. It's got a top and bottom thing going. I can't really see though. Hey, where's the bottom? Oh, it's there. That's weird. That's weird. It's really weird. So yeah, I'm gonna talk publicly about how I want my kids to be because then I can find a solution early rather than too late. I hope you worry less about these kind of things. I mean, I worry too much about any other things. So good thing that I won't worry about these kind of things in particular. And by these kind of things, I mean like, should I say it publicly about how I feel? But then I choke sometimes. It's not like it's perfect because I forget sometimes. Like I wanted to say that I like someone not too long ago, but I just kept fucking chickening out. So it's not perfect. But when you reflect on it and then you realize, oh shit, it really doesn't matter even if they don't like me back. It's like, yeah, I should just say something. So in that way, I mean, I just need to work up the courage, and this helps to do that. Oh, that's not supposed to look like that. Sure. Uh, what I think it is, honestly speaking, is that this goes in like so, and then there's the top part, and there's the top part. What is that? This is a fucking nightmare to try and deduce what the hell half these things are. Um, okay. Next one. Oh wow, I've really created a fucking monster. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Of course, everyone has their own insecurities. I just have a lot more of them than most. I think that's pretty visible, though. I'm not trying to hide that fact. There's one, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right at all. I'm trying to adhere to like this kind of artistic expression of this bone vertebrae thing, sacrum. But yeah, I think it's a cool discussion to have, like, even if it is just me, myself, and I having the discussion. Like, how do you solve that sense of purpose, lack of purpose? That the pursuit of money gives the first generation a sense of purpose, pursuit of wealth, I should say. So you kind of take that pursuit away from the next generation. So how do you solve their problem then? Because they don't have the privilege of desiring money. And I think that's why Michael Jackson and the Jacksons kind of solved it in a certain way. And the fact that it's not about the fact that you inherited certain skills from your parents. It's the fact that you did impressive shit that's unrelated of your parents. Like it's more impressive than your parents. I think that's the only way. You have to have your children do something that's so much more impressive than whatever you did that it just dwarfs you as a person. So you have to, I guess, be comfortable with your children being so much greater than you, which can be hard for a lot of. Don't get me wrong. Having your children be better than you is something that I don't think the. I mean, growing up, you can see that sometimes parents don't want their children to be better than them, which is a weird, petty, fucking dumbass thing. That's so stupid in my opinion. But I see it. I see that. Has never happened to me because I've never been good at anything. So fucking pride and privilege there, I guess. The privilege of sucking ass is that I'll never have somebody kind of break me down for being better than them because I was never better than them to begin with. So who's the real winner here? Dodge that bullet. Uh-huh. No, I'm not the real winner. I'll never be the real winner. But yeah, that happened. A lot more than it should. What the fuck am I making, bro? Oh, so how would that work for me? Well, that's why I'm learning so many of these different kind of skill sets for me. It is not for me, it is mostly for my children actually. Because if I learn how to do veterinary medicine, right, um, then I can support them in the pursuit of anyone that wants to do anything with medicine. Human medicine, veterinary medicine doesn't really matter. It's really fucking similar. It turns out broken live things tend to be broken kind of the same way. And the same thing goes for anything artistic. I can show them this. Or, for example, if they want to draw, I have a brother that's really good at drawing, so of course I can set them up with him. Or if they want to do sculpting, I can help them directly with that because I can sculpt now, you know? And then when it comes to anything, let's say they want to do anything with music, then of course I can help them out with music. Not by them copying me, but I know the habits that you need to be able to do in order to make become good at an instrument. Instead of, and of course, also, I mean, it is somewhat of a privilege, in my opinion. It can be, anyway, because not really having help ever growing up with homework and shit, like you always have to teach yourself how to learn things, is so much better than the children that got taught how to learn things by their parents. So knowing that, I will not teach my children how to learn things. I will simply facilitate because you don't want um, certain behaviors, and these behaviors include um, they include setting up a schedule for them, like helping them out for them. You want them to be able to figure out how to help themselves. That's important. Growing up, they're gonna have a lot of opportunities to be lazy and choose the wrong options. Of course, why am I not choosing all the wrong options? Because I don't have the privilege of, I mean, if I fuck up, no, that's my reason. Like, if I start doing drugs or something, uh, I'll just be a drug addict on the street because I will not have a home to go to. Simple as. And I can't afford any drugs either. That's one way of preventing your children from becoming drug addicts, in the fact that they don't have any support system if they were to become one. That's how one the reason I'm not doing that because kind of thing. But also, actually, oh no, this is move. When did that happen? Oh no, oh no, it needs to be zero. No, motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you. They're all moved. Wait a minute. This too? They're all moved. When the hell did that happen? Okay, we're good now, but that's weird. That was weird. I did not like that. How is this vertebrae supposed to look? Really fucking confusing. This guy isn't following his own damn rules. God damn it. Um, but yeah, learning how to play the guitar so that I know what kind of habits does a person that wants to get better at playing music need to have in order to play music. That's why I'm learning it. I don't know if it's a get close to my dad, because I like my dad. Which is rare these days. Most people don't, and they don't even realize it that they don't like their dad or their parents, because they never talk to them, and that's in that way. Like, unless you can talk to your dad about every emotion you have, I don't think you are close enough. You need to be close. Because I think Jordan Peterson put it nicely. I mean, he says a lot of controversial stuff, but he said something really nice. Um, especially your sons, your children want to be, they Everything else is normal. They want to be your best friend. But if they're not, it's on you. And I think that's really cool because, I mean, it's true. I want to be my dad, not best friend. I want to be my dad's friend. I don't desire to be his best friend, but like, I want to know my dad, get to know my dad, because he's a really interesting character, for one, and he has my best interest in mind. Just so rare for parents to have, especially with this fucking Gen X bullshit. Oh, I need to find myself. Bro, you're 55. Stop it. You have children. That's your purpose. Dumbass. 50% divorce rate. Like, stop it. You're not gonna find the one when you're 60. You're closing in on 55, man. You're closer to 60 than you're 50. And 50 is pretty old. Nothing. There's so many divorced parents growing up. Not my parents. I mean, my parents are also divorced, but I mean, like, friends and shit. So many divorced parents. And they're all like, I gotta find the love. Like, bitch, you got 3 children and you're worried about finding love? I gotta treat myself. Bitch, you got 3 kids. You can't do that. You gotta make sure they grow up right. You know, I'm all over the place again. Jesus. So yeah, that's why I'm learning all these skills, different skills. I know it will be useful at some point because you'll always be able to help your children do something that's way more impressive than you ever could. Because most impressive people start off young. That's the number one thing. I didn't have the privilege of starting off young, so what can I do? I can still do impressive shit, try to at least, to the best of my ability, and then have so many extra skills that whatever impressive shit that my kids want to do, they can do those. Like for example, math. I had to teach myself math all the time. No, no, yet against my parents or anything, but yeah, I did have to teach myself how to do math on my own. It was rough, but that's where I'm conflicted, right? That's where I'm conflicted. I just be true parents at some point, hopefully. Um, if God allows it. Anyway, um, it's like, do I teach the child how to do math? You have to be very careful on how you do it because you don't want to teach them an equation or the logic of an equation. What you want to do is teach them how to learn math. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. You don't want to teach them math. You want to teach them how to learn math. Very different, even though it sounds like it isn't different. The difference is instead of going through my, like, for example, history, for example, instead of teaching your children, say you're learning about World War I, instead of teaching your children, you connecting the dots for your children when it comes to Franz Ferdinand's assassination, how the Black Hand was in Serbia, how Serbia was oppressed in the war in the Caucasus, like fucking 20 years before or something like that. I don't quite remember. Instead of you just presenting those things and presenting those dots to them, you simply, when it comes to history, you help where you can, which is simply memorizing dates. You just remind them to remember the date, essentially. Um, you just encourage them to remember the date. And then you make sure that they, on their own, learn and connect the dots. Like for example, well, World War One predecessor to World War Two, how, and then how that was a predecessor to colonialism, you know, and and why that is, not just the fact that it was. It's like, oh, that's not really based on anything, and because that's how you get a good grade in history or in math. Like you don't teach them the equation, you teach them um, how long do I sit to learn how to learn an equation, and also what kind of discipline do I need to be able to learn a skill that's hard, like calculus, for example. Because that's where the second generation or third generation first, I think, comes in the fact that um, the first generation lays everything on a silver platter for the second generation, and then the second generation doesn't even know how to lay things on a silver platter for their children. And because the third generation is now maybe gone or doesn't know how to teach further, the third generation is aimless and doesn't really know what the fuck to do, and then they initiate the curse. And then you lose all your wealth. It's not a matter of, it's not very important to distinguish though. You're not doing this because you want to keep wealth for the longest amount of time. No, rather, what does the wealth represent, right? For making sure I don't have anything. No one's watching this because this is crazy. I'm just speaking like a crazy man. Um, where was I? Yeah, wealth is not, you're not accumulating wealth to keep wealth for the longest amount of time. That is not the goal. Wealth is the representation of, I think, potential. I think that's the better way to put it. It's not a defined identity. It's the first time I've ever defined it in that way. I'm not sure if I want to keep that. It's a matter of potential because it's not a matter of like comfort either because we're not trying to maximize comfort. We're not, really not. We're trying to maximize the potential of each generation. Wealth is a result of that, naturally. But you can also, oh, I don't want to spew the bullshit of, oh, you can be wealthy in multiple ways. Like, yeah, of course, retard. Like, that's not what no one's got that twisted. Don't worry about that. I want my children to be happy. Like, bitch, no, you've missed the mark again. Happiness isn't something you are, it's something you, in my opinion, happiness should come from reflection, not from current experience. But it is something you can only experience in the moment, of course, but it should come from reflection, not from current experience. Anyway, where was I? Uh, up here. Yeah, because I hate it. I fucking despise it when people that have potential never get fucking hurt, and nothing pisses me off more. Because it's like all the money and resources was poured into this one retard that didn't fucking try. And now we've just wasted resources on someone who would never ever be able to achieve anything. That's why I think people have a problem with nepotism, honestly. It comes from that same hatred of children that were given an opportunity, are not able to perform, and therefore waste resources. They waste the potential resources that could have been spent on somebody that would have used the resources appropriately, and therefore we've wasted time and resources as a society. I think that's where people hate nepo babies. If the nepo baby ends up doing something incredible, it doesn't matter. Anyway, not my point. My point is something else. Wealth in each generation, I think, is measured of ability to pursue that potential, and usually that is through you need resources to do that. So that's what I mean by wealth. Uh, like that's the physical wealth component of it, because you need physical wealth to be able to pursue their potential, whatever that potential is manifesting as. I think I'm not sure yet. There's definitely an idea in there somewhere. I just haven't fucking developed it properly. It's really annoying too. Well, I would love to talk about this with a community. That'd be fucking awesome. Because nothing smarter than a multiple humans, in my opinion. The crowd is the smartest person, the smartest manifestation of humans ever. Because it's multiple people. That's why, like, for example, um, that's why Reddit regularly like outdoes FBI because there's just more people thinking about a problem. They're not more qualified. There's more people thinking about a problem, and therefore they have a higher chance of coming up with a solution. Anyway, I would love to discuss like my issues and their issues because it's human issues with the crowd. That'd be fucking awesome. As a lifetime idea, I just do this on the side. Hell yeah. Absolute hell yeah. Because I'm genuinely trying to figure out what the fuck am I supposed to do with my children. Because my children are gonna get fucked. Um, purpose-wise. I'm trying to learn skills so that I can help them when they want to kind of pursue those skills or passions themselves. Not passion, because it isn't a passion. That's the difference. Most people say don't follow your passion, you need to make money, but I think people misinterpret what a passion is. A passion is, I think I've defined it somewhat reasonable. It's whatever you do the most well that you don't get paid for. That's what a passion is. The thing that you do the best that you don't get paid for. Because I watched an Alex Hormozy video. He's a great thinker, but he got it all wrong. I think honestly, he got it really wrong. Because if I don't pursue your passion, because if you were to pursue your passion, that if I were to pursue my passion, I would be a bartender at a ski club. That's not a passion. That is a thing that you find fun and pleasurable. That's not the same as passion. The same thing I find video games fun and pleasurable. I find watching movies fun and pleasurable. It's not a passion in the same sense. Passion for Alex Hormozy would be his weightlifting. If he never weightlifted and pursued that passion, he would never have become the person he is. And that way, pursuing passion is the most important thing you can do because it is the most important thing that you do, which means that you don't get paid for, which means that's the thing that you like to do, which means that's the thing that you will derive the most joy of when you do it for money, because you can just switch, you can switch like that, and then you get the money from it. That's what a passion is. Thing that you can switch and then get paid for. Maybe not a lot, but you can switch it up to get money from. That's also what drives me nuts about my dad. It's like I'm trying to tell, convince my dad that he should convince my brother. It's a complicated a loop of things. He should convince my brother to pursue his ability to do art um, instead of trying to get a regular education. Because I think that's really important. Because my brother's so fucking good at drawing and that it's upsetting. It is upsetting to watch for me because I'm just like, I could, ugh, can never be this fucking good. Like, he is tremendous. But then my dad goes something like, um, it is so hard these days to become an artist. And I thought about that. I was like, he, well, he's not wrong. But then I thought about it a little bit longer. And then I realized, wait a minute. It's always been hard to be an artist. I mean, yeah, it's especially now, but it's especially now every fucking time. It's harder and harder every time. That doesn't mean it's impossible. On the contrary, there's so many artist jobs, more now than ever, simply because there's more people hiring than ever. So it's actually the easiest time ever to become an artist. Could you imagine how hard it would have been to be an artist in the fucking 1100s? Like, you would have to be so good compared to your peers that it wouldn't even have been a contest. Of course, that's the case now too with my brother. He's so good. He's like in a bunch of different disciplines. He's a true artist, true fucking artist at heart. Oh God. It's devastating to watch that he's wasting his potential with trying to get a normal job. And I'm like, bitch, you have this talent, but you don't use it. And it's upsetting because you don't have the discipline. You never have to actually work for it. You have all the cards, but you're just so shit at poker that you don't know how to delegate your resources. I know I'm putting half the shit I say wrong. That's the really fucked up thing about expressing ideas. Is the fact that when you realize, when you talk about these things, you realize not only am I getting it wrong because I haven't refined the idea enough, but I'm getting it wrong, so I'm misrepresenting the idea. Because not only am I not saying what I want, I'm also saying it incorrectly in the way that it isn't the meaning that I wanted anymore. It's really upsetting actually. But that's the reason I talk about it, so that I am able to express it. Because if I'm not able to express it, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't. I'm gonna write this idea down though, because I think it's a good topic. Because it's something I do every day. So I might as well talk about it. This is all I think about these things. Hold up. Live stream idea. Because you can read books about these things, but reading books takes a long time, first of all. I think a lot of it is just crunching the time, crunching, just thinking about a topic for long enough. That's what I did about like death, and I managed to figure out that problem so that it worked for me. I'm like thinking, well, if it worked then maybe it'll work now too. If I do it for um, say, my kids or something, or I think just being really fucking open about these things is gonna be something people don't do. But I don't care, so I'm just gonna be open about it, right? So yeah, I feel like I'm gonna win because I think that the biggest flaw of successful people is not being open about their insecurities because they're successful now. I think that's the biggest flaw of people, period. Not being open or public about their problems. I talked to my dad about finances and shit, and he's like, "Oh, don't ever talk about my finances with people." And I'm like, "You have great finances." That makes it sound like I'm talking about dick or some euphemism or something. Like, he doesn't have to worry, but he's very it's a sensitive topic every time I bring it up because, I mean, I won't get into it. I promise you I won't. So I will not actually talk about this further. But yeah, that's what I mean. A lot of people don't want their insecurities go off, but the thing is, if you just talk about them, they will get forward. And I know I'll fucking eat my ass sometimes in the future when I realize, oh fuck, I should have just talked about my insecurities instead of bottling them up, and now I fucked myself publicly or something. Like there will be some issue that I don't feel comfortable expressing out publicly, and then I'll fuck myself by doing that, and that's bad. I'll try not to do that when that comes, but it will probably happen because human nature is human nature, and humans are fucking dumb. But also the most incredible thing to ever happen to this planet, in my opinion, is like God. Because without humans, life is not guaranteed to uh, continue beyond this Earth. We don't know if there's any more planets with life. And with humans, we have the ability to spread life to the rest of the galaxy. But if we were just like animals in the fucking bush or whatever, there would be zero chance of life continuing on beyond this Earth. And we're one meteor away from never making it or being eradicated forever, you know? So it's like, well, shit. Damn. We can make it so that life continues on beyond just this Earth. And that's incredible. Like, no creature is allowed life to do that. I think we're honestly amazing things. And we do amazing things for animals and ourselves, of course. Um, mostly self-interest. I mean, that's what animal preservation is, actually. Mostly self-interest because we like looking at animals. We like being around animals. It's fun. It's cool. It's probably good for us in the future, but it's mostly because we like looking at animals. And that's okay. It's a selfish thing, but it's a good thing. It's the same reason people have kids. It's mostly selfish thing to want kids to live on. Like people will say, if someone endangers your child, you will not think twice about killing that person or something. At least dads won't. Moms might. I don't know though. Depends on the mom. Depends on the dad too, I guess. I just know that dads tend to go more in that direction than moms do. Um, and it's just like, it is a selfish thing because say that you kill two people, well, objectively you diminish the gene pool to some degree, but you save the children. So there's certain things that we do that are selfish objectively that aren't bad. And I think animal care and animal preservation is one of those. We don't have to do it. I mean, it can be, I think, yeah, it probably is beneficial in the fact that it helps us live longer, but it's also, then again, selfish, right? Because, yeah, we preserve animals so that we can have a greater biodiversity, so that in case of some sort of travesty, we have an increased number of animals that are able to live for longer so that we have food. But that's still a selfish thing. It is so that the future generations of humans can live the most comfortably, right? And with the most potential. So again, well, oh, I switch around too much. Jesus. Fuck my computer up. I just flopping around all the time. Does that look like a spectrum? Kinda does, right? And now for the tailbone. Yeah, tail. Kind of neat, actually. And we're gonna add a cube for this one, I think. Two cubes. Yeah, it's gonna be symmetrical. So, God damn it. Oh wait, this is probably gonna be similar to that one. Where am I copying all of these, by the way? Ah, they're all named Cube. Okay, what about you? I don't remember where I kept them. Hmm. They're L1, so they're in the lumbar spine. Okay, got it. Tailbone. Oh shit. But I don't think anyone else is doing it to this degree. I mean, stay if you want, I guess. What am I doing? Ah, subdivision. Okay, it's applied. Flip mode. Hmm. Just making sure it was a little weird. You're being weird. Stop that. I gotta remix this bastard. Not with that. Oh god. Why did that freeze everything? Okay. But yeah, I never thought about that. We could just talk about these things in our live stream. So these are issues everyone has. How do I know that? Because I talked to other people about it. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, I have these issues too. And that's how I get along with people, the people that respond positively to that. So might as well fucking talk about it publicly, right? And that's all I think about most of the time. So, what the hell is happening? Why is it so wrinkly? It's not scaled properly. That's why. Bow, bow. Thought it was a little weird. Because it was. Anyway, why can't I smooth? Yeah, I think we're gonna restart Blender because it's really cracking off. Oh, whoops. I accidentally grabbed that one. That's supposed to be there. So this is the S1. I'm gonna say S1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. Tailbone 1. What is this? Oh, it's the pelvis. I'm so close to finishing this bone. His entire skeleton is almost done. Damn. That's actually impressive. Open up, Blender. Let's read about Eric Clapton, because he's got a really nice one. The blues, like the blues, like Oh damn, most of these people fucking what? They started in 16. Oh, this would have upset me. I started when I was like 7 playing the guitar. And then I fucking stopped. Because my brother called me gay when I was playing. Then you're playing is gay. And I was like, all right, that's devastating as a fucking 7-year-old. Because it was before I moved, so it was before first grade. And then my parents didn't pressure me at all to get back on it, which I think is a mistake for parents to do, man. Pressure your child to do stuff, man. You want your child to be um person that you admire, and you also want your child to be not only a person that you admire, but a person that you like. Oh, his thing is kind of glitching in as well. It's supposed to look more like that. Anyway, not my point. My point is this thing. Scotland. Why can't I move? Oh, did it just work? No? Yeah, it's not bad. Huh, this is weird. Does this work? No. Why? Does it work on any other thing? Did I drag some? What the fuck is happening? Okay, it is remix. That's not the button. Remixing. Now it's working. Okay. I have no idea what that was. I can't see. But you see it with Jack too. I think he's also trying to avoid the third generation problem. Jack O'Neill. He talked about the fact that my money is my money. You don't have any of my money. The problem is, he's not doing that in practice. His children live with him, which is fine. I'm not gonna change that fact. If I ever become, I'm never gonna probably become tax wealthy, but um, he's like, I'll only pay for their education. Anything else is on them. It's also kind of passive. You're also just doing the whole, I'll just supply the money part again. The same issue as before, because their problem is not money. Their problem is purpose. So what is the mistake there? I think it's still um, you need to give them the skill to learn how to learn. I think that's the only skill that your children need, honestly speaking. Learning how to learn is the only skill they should need. That's really hard to teach because a lot of people never learn how to learn. They just have their parents learn for them. You notice that when you get to college and shit, that a lot of people never really learn how to learn. And that sounds weird to say because they're in college. How the fuck did they make it so far? because they live with their parents and their parents teach them things. You know, their parents teach them math. And that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid. I'm not trying to teach my children like points in history and connect the points for them so they get the good grade. No, even though that's the easier part, like it's still hard, but it's the easier thing to do. It is the wrong thing to do. It's setting them up for failure. They never learn how to learn. But the learning thing means that they have to teach themselves in a way that makes sense for them, so they can connect the dots. Will that make them slightly slower at learning? Maybe, probably, yeah. But I really appreciate how my dad did that. Like he didn't have all the answers when I had struggled in school. Like he couldn't teach me calculus or anything like that. But what he could teach me was, well, you know how to solve problems generally. You could sit with them for long enough until you figure them out. Even if it takes you 5 more hours than it does with a normal person, you figure them out. I think that's the best way to teach your kids how to do anything. Because then you're not involved. It's an autonomy thing. Because in the end, they will have to be able to do shit on their own. The only thing I wish he did was, I mean, get custody sooner, but that's not on him. That's on us. I mean, we never knew that we could be in a different custody. I mean, we were told, but as a 13-year-old kid, you don't really think about these things. But like, I want to go home and play Minecraft or something. That's right. That's your biggest concern. Like, just working is the point. This whole work-life balance bullshit pisses me off. Like my twin brother wants to get a work-life balance. Constantly talking about this kind of shit. And I'm like, you're 20 fucking two, man. I'm not gonna get anywhere. You think you need a work-life balance at this age? You have the most energy you will ever have, and the most amount of time you will ever have. If you don't grab the opportunity now, you will not have an opportunity ever. So, what is that angle thing? I don't get what it is. It just fucks over everything. Oh wow, that's really in there. Like it's just the angle of the brushing, the dumbest feature I think I've ever had. Angle of the brush. What the fuck does that even mean? I've definitely not studied the anatomy enough for the spectrum because this does not make any sense. Why the fuck is there a thing down here? And why is it connected like that? Doesn't make any sense. Well, does that guarantee you, somebody like Shaq's children, they're gonna have the exact same issue. So Shaq did not solve the issue. Jackie Chan, I don't know his children. That's his problem. I don't know his children. Because I also hate when they say you should be the best at whatever you want to be. It's like that's so big. Ah, I'm not trying to control what my children do, but it's like no shit, retard. I should try as hard as I can for the thing I want to do. You dumb? Not Jackie Chan did not say that, but it's so basic. You just that's leaving it half cocked. You know the whole idea of what your children should be doing. How should you maximize the potential of or the next generation. What you want to do, um, is have a child that makes people go, oh shit, that's the child of that person. So you want your child to overshadow you in such an insane degree that he's not even thinking about you as a competition. Doesn't mean you should like bow down to your child. No, not at all. Like, how do you even do that? You know? Because you don't even know what makes you great. Like, for me, I am not great. So that's a good start off point. Because if they're your child, they have an unfair advantage. Um, at least hopefully they have. Hopefully it's not at a, they're not at a disadvantage for being your child. You know? They will receive hate because of that. But people don't hate if you're good at your job. People hate wasted potential or wasted resources. People hate wasted wealth, but if the wealth is spent appropriately, people don't mind it anymore. That's my theory anyway. That could be connecting though. How it connects underneath. I didn't know that. There's like something at the bottom there, like an extra bond. Um, oh, that was weird. So the girdle is now done. Now we can do the new one. Fine. Then I'm so close to finishing this fucking thing. God. When I finish it, I just need to close it, which might take a while. But uh okay. Mesh cube. Emer. See, could be that. Do humans even have a fibula? No, they do. Oh, it's actually really big. Some animals have like a floating fibula. It's like more out of courtesy than anything else. So, yeah, what's my point? I'm getting really fucking tired, so I don't know if I'm able to express my ideas properly. But, it's fun. It's really, I'm having a blast, actually. Because I want to be a well-rounded individual so that my kids, not that they don't have to put in the same amount of effort, but it's rather so that I know what effort can look like. But then again, I'll just run into the same issue with the next generation, right? Won't I? Because if I help my children analyze my children and don't teach them how to analyze their children, because skills will always fade, like the virtues of the parent will always fade, I think, over time. So it's like difficult to say, right? My head hurts a lot. Yeah, big stinker, big stinker, big stinker. Because it's obvious don't throw money at your kids because then they'll just end up like they won't do anything. It's like what's one step? Yeah, what was I thinking? The whatever skills of the first generation that generated a wealth of and the virtues still will fade, but they only fade like a memory fades. But memories only fade because you don't keep revisiting them. So the fact that if you revisit them, it might get so ingrained, especially if you make it a core virtue. It can get so ingrained that it feels unnatural not to follow that virtue. Does that make sense? I think that makes more sense. No, it's like Okay, so rambling, the ramblings of a crazy man. Get the head in there. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Make that into a little head. Okay, we'll just pull it down a little. Oh, is it so fun? Oh god. That's what I mean. Make them excited about having children. And how can you make them excited about having children so that they want to listen to you when it comes to purchase? And I think that's pretty simple. It's like, what did my dad do? Well, he treated us with a lot of respect. He showed how much he was like us. So by doing that, oh God, Glenda did not like that. That kind of helped convince me. Because I'm really excited about growing old. I think there's a lot of people that get scared of it. It's simply because they don't think about it enough. I think once they think about it even a little bit, they realize, hey, it's actually really good. Did I do it again? It really does not like me symmetrizing. Okay, it's on now. Oh God, I'm tired. It's 2 a.m. man. I gotta end the stream. I'm happy I did it though. I'm not happy I played games. I think I expressed pretty clearly why though. It's because all my intentions, not intentions, all my views are based off how will I enjoy this when I'm like 50? Will this matter when I'm like 50, 60, 70, 80? If not, why? And also, what will I regret? What will I not regret? I don't think I'll have any regrets because I don't fucking believe in that shit. But but there is a nuance actually. I do believe in regret, and that's only inaction. Regret is points for inaction, not action. So inaction creates regret. So I don't want to have regret based on that definition of regret. That, that's all I think. I was trying to fucking do that, but it's really fucking hard to do that, you know? Needs to be shaped more like a actual fucking down my head. That's also way too much out there. Like the head is not that much out. One minimum fact. Regret. Well, it's not that I don't believe in regret. It's just, you know what causes it. And today I did something that will cause regret. Oh my God. And then we got the tibia. But that will be for tomorrow. It's literally the last fucking thing. Oh my God. I need to look at this with fresh eyes though, because I know there are some problems, but I also know that I'm way too retarded right now to actually see them. Where did I want to pick up from? Um, yeah. 'Cause I don't know. Yeah, it might just be virtue. I think virtues might be the thing that matters, not skills or money actually. That to break the okay. Main question. Okay. I'm broken. I gotta go to bed. Although I'm very happy with what I have so far. Where's the skull? Where's the top peak? We're almost there, man. Look at this shit. We are almost there. Okay, awesome. That is all. I managed to do another 3 hours. Okay, we'll see you all tomorrow then.